What's up, YouTube? In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at creating some custom animations and using them inside of your Unity project to create some really cool animations for your character. We're also going to be addressing the making an animation loop, sort of like an issue that I've seen a lot of people have been having. I'm going to show you, it's really simple to fix, so we're going to be looking at that, making animations loop, and also how you can create some custom animations really easy, really simple. And so let's get into it. Alright, so for this tutorial, guys, I'm gonna run over to the asset store and I'm gonna grab this 3D character dummy package. It's created here by Kevin Iglesias. Definitely props to that dude, and it's free, so go ahead and snatch this if you want to follow along with this example, or just use your 3D model that you already have. So let's hop over into Unity. I'm going to show you what we're going to do to create some custom animations, and also making sure that the ones that needs to loop will indeed loop correctly, which again, I will repeat, it's a very simple issue, but nevertheless it is an issue, and that's why I'm going to cover it today. So I have a simple scene here that I've already imported the model, and I've just chosen the blue guy here. And on the model, what you would normally see here is an animator. And if the animator is not there, just simply add component animator. And so you would do this for your model, obviously, if you're doing this with like your custom character that you might have designed in Blender and so forth. Cool thing about this package, though, I have to say props again to Kevin, is that there's a source file for the Blender file here. So if you wanted to make changes to this model in particular, you could. But other than that, really nice package. So first thing is that you must identify that there's a prefabs, and you can see right down here it says the name of the model, so male dummy dot prefab. So there's prefab, and then there's actually models, which you click here. It's male dummy dot fbx. So this is the actual 3D file. And so what you want to kind of do is just right click and go to show and explore. And if you're on a Mac, I believe it's like show in Finder or something like that. But what this is going to do is going to pop up this window where you can find and see the actual 3D object right here. So this is the FPX, not to be mistaken with like the fbx.meta. That's just basically like the saved information from Unity, so don't worry about that at all. But let's continue. What you're going to do to create some custom animations is there's a very simple way of doing this. We've moved out of the Stone Age, and so there's many ways now to do simple things like these. And where you want to go to get this done is Mixamo. I'll leave a link to this in the description below, but you can see right here, it's just mixamo.com. That is where you would go. It's free to get into, so let me just sign out real quick to show you what it would look like. I'm just gonna hit the sign out button. Alright, so once you're at Mixamo, boom, you're there. It says sign up for a free account. If you hit sign up, you can go ahead and fill out the necessary information and sign up, or you can just go ahead and hit log in, and then you can log in using things like Facebook or Gmail, which you saw there popped up, but it's automatically signing me in. And then once you're on this screen, what you want to do is click to upload your character, and what you can do then is find any type of animations in here. For example, I will do it right now. Actually, open up this, upload character, and then what you want to do is find that FBX or 3D object. There's many different formats that it's compatible with. You can see right here, FBX, OBJ, or a zip. So you can drag it, boom, connect it right there, and it's going to upload the model for us. At this point, you can actually close this out. While this is loading, I should let you know that if you're only here to check out the fix for like the loop issue, then you can just forward to that point in the video. So it says, sorry, unable to map your existing skeleton. Sometimes that happens, and what I do, believe it or not, all I do is try again. Alright, so I refresh the page and just try it again, and as you can see here, it went in just perfectly fine. Now, it was able to auto rig. Sometimes it won't. In that case, you just have to kind of like specify which part of his body is his arms, his elbows, and then there would be a button here to manually rig. But in this case, the auto rig was able to kind of like pinpoint what areas is which, and then you simply hit next, and boom. Here is the character that we have inside of our Unity project, ready for us to start animating. So you can go over the animation, and let's pretend we wanted to get maybe a dance animation or something. You can simply click on it, and it will attach that animation to that character for you. Of course, you have all these settings, right, where you can make it different, make it customize it to your likings. Here's a trailer. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. This is trailer. All right, so next one is I'm gonna find an idle. Get me an idle animation somewhere in here. It's nice little like combat idle. Alright, so maybe you're building a fighting game. Will be pretty nice. And so, you know, you can maybe fix the arm spacing. We can say closer. Alright, so now it's like a fist, a cross. And then this is wider. And so you can really customize this to how you like it. I think I'm okay with this. And then it's so easy. What you do next is simply hit the download. I'm going to download it. You don't really have to change anything. I find that it works just fine by not changing anything. But you could indeed choose FBX for Unity. I find that leaving it how it is also just as good. So I'm going to leave it how it is and just hit download. Okay. And so it's downloaded. Should pop up right here once it's done. Let's see. You can see it popped up right down here. It's done. I'm gonna get something else. Maybe a let's see. You can filter for certain animations if you want instead of search. There's also a filter. So I'm going to try a combat. Let me try a dying. Now that looks fun. We're gonna get a dying. Like, oh no, and then he falls. That's pretty dramatic. And I'm gonna hit download on that one as well. And I'll have two. Just a minute here while it downloads. Yep, and there it is. Both of them is downloaded. And so what I'll do, really easy to do. You can go to the folder and find your two animations, this one and this one, and drag them into your Unity project. Drag them into your Unity project just like that. So dying, and then idle. At this point, I'm done with the browser. Now I'll just close it. Now, how do we get it on the dummy? You can see that the dummy has a animator which we went over earlier. What you simply need is an animator controller. So you can create one. Animator controller. And I'll just call this demo. So now on the player, right here where it needs the controller, I'll drag and attach demo. You falling asleep? Am I that bored? I guess I'm bored. Demo. Alright, but if we double click on demo here, we open it up here in the graph area, we'll see that it's absolutely empty. And so what I'll do is I'll drag in my idle, and when it comes in here, notice that it will have the same name as the site that you downloaded it from. It'll have the same name, and so not to confuse yourself, I would suggest renaming it to what we dragged in. So I dragged in the idle, and right here I'll just go up here and rename this and say idle. As you can see, the name changes here. Now when you load the game and you hit play, it should idle, but you're going to see that it only idles once until the animation plays to the full, and then it stops. And so this is where one of the issue comes in with making it loop. The issue that we've been seeing is that you know that you can always just double click on the animation and it goes into the settings, and then there is this checkbox for loop, and if you check this, it is supposed to loop, but you can see that when you head back to the game, it actually doesn't. It plays again to the end of the animation, which we can watch. Let me just detach it, and if we stop, hit play, we can see that it plays only once and it stops. So the fix for this, which a few of you might have been waiting for, and sorry that it took so long to get there, but just wanted to show you the other stuff. The fix for this is that it's really simple, guys. There's actually a second button to click down here, which is apply. Without the apply, it actually stays checked, but it never get apply. And in fact, if you saved your game, let me stop playing. If you had saved your game and go out of your project and back in, a lot of times you see that it's still checked, but then the apply button is actually grayed out as if it actually already applied. If that happens, what you'd want to do is uncheck it, hit apply, then check it again, and then hit apply. So you want to kind of like refresh it. If by any chance the apply button is grayed out like it is right now and it's already checked, you'd have to do what I said. So uncheck it so the apply button lights up, hit apply, check it back, then hit apply. But you can see now that after we hit apply, let's hit play, the idle animation will actually idle on, and it will not repeat. How many knots? 2 knots. It will not repeat. So you can see there, it idles as it should. For any like additional animation, stick around for the rest of the video. I'm going to show you how we'll put in the dramatic die-in and maybe rig it or code it to a certain button, or maybe in your case, whenever your player is supposed to die, you just have it happen. So it's really easy to understand how this animation thing works. Any animation that is linked to the entry will play by default, and then you can have other animations like that. Just brought them into it. And since this is the die-in, I'm going to name it die. And when he dies, there's no need for him to go back to idle. You know, at that point, you probably just maybe create some sort of respawn or reload the game, whatever the case is. But there is a reason for him to loop from idle to dying, so it's like a transition. However, you can click on the transition, and this simply means right here that it will go through the idle. Once it reaches the end of the idle animation, it will go right into the die-in animation, And then after that, you see that there is no loop back. So what will happen is that he will not go back to idle. So here he will idle. Towards the end of the idle, he will then do a dramatic dead. Ugh, I'm hit. Man down. Right? So what you could do, right, is click on this transition line that you've created simply by right clicking and say make transition and then connect it. What you could do with this, you click on that line and there's certain settings that we can play with here. First of all, the has exit time. What this will do is, let's say that he's idling and for some reason it's time for him to die because he just got shot or whatever. What you would do is turn this off, because with this on, if the animation is right here in the idle and it's time for him to die, it would still wait all the way until the exit of this idle animation before it goes into the death. So if you want him to just kind of idle and then immediately, boom, he's dead, it goes right to death, then you want to uncheck the has exit time. That way it will play the animation regardless of the previous animation that it's linked with. So idle to dying, it will not wait for this full idle animation to be near complete before actually going into dying. If you want dying to die, it happens immediately no matter what the idle animation, like what time it is in that idle animation. So that's what that is. The has exit time, that's what that is. But still, we don't want this idle to transition right into dying automatically, and so you can create right here conditions. Right now there is none but you can hit the add button and create them, and I'm gonna show you. The add button is not right here. The add button is not right up here. Parameters, we can create a condition. So for example, we can click and add a float, integer, bool, or trigger. You can use any types. And for example, if I chose a bool to say, let's call it dead, then we will simply tell it, right, this. We'll tell it this. Click on the transition and we'll tell it here. When dead equals true, then it will actually play the dying animation. So if I break this apart here so we can see them side by side, I want to show you this. Okay, just like this. If I hit play, see, it's just looping through the idle like it should, and it's not going through the transition to dying. But if this dead was equal to true, and I'll click the checkbox to make it true, boom, then immediately, I'm finished, save yourself. Just like that. If you're wondering how easy it would be though to have this happen through your script, it is dramatically easy. And so just to answer that question, I've already prepared a demo script, which is just basically the standard snippet. I'll add the script to the player and double tap, double click to open it up. And I'll show you that. Stick around if that's something you're interested in. Again, I'm not trying to force you to see this if this is not something you're interested in watching. I'm going to use a very standard and basic programming method to do it, but I'm sure a lot of you guys know the best practice. But first of all, just got to make reference to the animator. Okay, you can use the get component method, but I'm simply just going to make a public animator, and I'll call it Annie. Annie, are you okay? Just like that. Now save and just show you again, the channel is for beginners, intermediates, and professionals, so I kind of gotta do it this way. Sorry, taking too long. So you can see when you make a public variable of the type, it shows up in the inspector, as most of you already know. but like I said, gotta show it. So now I can simply drag the animator and make the connection. Boom. So now Annie represents this animator, and the animator has the controller. Inside the controller is the parameter for dead, true or false. So as you can see, we're creating a connection to be able to change that dead variable from true to false. So now that the connection is made to the animator, we can simply say, well, if input dot, let's do a get key down. I'm gonna check for the key code space. So basically, if I press the space bar, what do I want to happen? By the way, just a quick little opportunity here to teach you guys something you may not already know, is that the body for the if condition is not fully necessary if the next line is just one command, which is true in this case. I'm just going to tell Annie to set a boolean. Remember the type of variable that this was a boolean, true or false, right? So Annie set bool, and then I have to give it, in parentheses, I have to give it the ID and then the value. So the ID is in a string format, and I will give it the ID dead, spelled exactly the same. So that is the ID that we want to set the boolean, and then with a comma, I'll say true. I just realized how small this is showing up for you guys. Let me just zoom in. There we go. So that is it. When I press space, do this. Next thing to note though is, like, if I wanted something else to happen, even if I wanted to print something like Bob or boob. All right, we got to make this proper for kids. Bob. Even if it's indented like this, like, come on guys, this is not Python. The indentation really don't make nothing, no difference. Even if it's indented like this, keep in mind that only this function or this command is the only command that's a part of the if condition, because there's no body. When there's no body, only the next line counts. So it will be spamming Bob because we're inside the update, and it's exactly like if we wrote it like that. Doesn't matter how close you put it to it. So if you have more than one line, remember that is when you want the body, which is the open and closing parentheses, kinda like so. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So if you save this, head back to Unity. I did not need the body, but I just kind of put it there anyway so you see it. We go here and we hit play. It now does the idle animation, combat idle animation, as we programmed it to do. And then when I hit space, boom. It's too late for me. Save yourself. As you can see, he falls, and that's how we do that. Hopefully this video is educational to the audience. I'll catch you in the next one.